Once again, I woke up in my hometown. Once again, it was in the middle of a heat wave. And once again, I had a completely empty schedule and a bit of a hangover. It became clear to me that the only solution was coffee. So, we're still in the middle of a heat wave. Don't know if you can tell by the sun bouncing off my ever-growing forehead. And I've woken up with a hangover. So I'm gonna make some coffee and drink it. That's the be all and end all of this one. I have spent a week sort of going around filming stuff, trying to sort of figure out what's worth watching and what's not, and I've come to the conclusion that my life just isn't that interesting. So I'm gonna see what happens when you take it to the extremes, and I'm gonna film myself making some coffee now. It's hot. So it's been about a week since that little trip to Chislehurst, and I woke up the next day and I thought, you know what, that's it's a bit of a young man's game, the whole drinking like I think I had like 6 drinks over the course of an afternoon, and that's not ideal when you sort of got to do the rest of your day afterwards. If you've had 6 drinks and it's like 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock, whatever, like sure, you go to bed. But I think it was like 7 o'clock by the time I sort of like started winding down, and that's an awkward time to be sort of half drunk, and it's safe to say my dinner wasn't exactly wasn't the most aesthetically pleasing thing I've ever eaten. Tasted nice, but I do have a slight tendency to over season things when I've had a couple of drinks. Anyway, so I've been thinking about that podcast I was complaining about last time. At the time, I was super done with it. It was done. It was over. yeah, I was really sort of done with it, and didn't see any likelihood of me doing it again. As it stands at the moment, I kind of want to get back to it, which I know is kind of stupid. Like a week later, I've like changed my mind entirely, which happens. I just think I might have approached it wrong. You know, doing 2 episodes a week, and not sort of like preloading the schedule with recorded episodes. That would have been a good idea. So I might go back to it, and I might sort of like record 100 episodes and have them all ready and schedule them for release like later on. So I've got a bit of a buffer. This is a problem though. You see what I've done there is I've come up with a more reasonable way of doing things. Like, okay, I'll just do 1 episode a week and I'll get ahead of myself first, but then I take it to the extreme anyway and say I'll do 100 of them. Yeah, it's quite a lot given that I've done 4 episodes and got so stressed with it that I gave up on it. One other little thing I might do is someone I know wants to do a bit of voice work, so I might get them involved and get them to actually do some of the episodes, or maybe all of them, or maybe we could alternate or something. But yeah, so that might that might happen. You know what actually made me sort of make the decision that I'm going to get involved with it again is I was just in Morrison's. I saw these noodles. These they were like 35p instant noodles. Oh yeah, by the way, the podcast that I gave up on and possibly am going back to now after a week, it talks about instant noodles. That's the podcast. Which sounds ridiculous to say out loud, and it is ridiculous, but I like it. I could go on for ages about it, but yeah, I saw these 35p instant noodles, and I had this sort of weird thought. I was like, oh my god, I really want to review them. Like, I want to do a whole episode of a podcast, like 10 minutes of talking about 35p noodles. Like, I mean, that's got to be a challenge, hasn't it? Like, to find 10 minutes worth of stuff to say. Although it doesn't have to be 10 minutes, but I'd probably put that restriction on myself just to make things more stressful. The weird part is, I think I know someone who actually regularly buys them and says they're really good and like a decent snack, which I find hard to believe. But anyway, so yeah, I might go back to doing that. I don't know. If you're remotely interested, I've gone ahead and torn the bag right through the name. I don't know how to pronounce that, to be honest with you. Ueshima? Yeah, don't know how to pronounce it, but it is cracking coffee. I really don't want to sound I don't want to sound overly critical or judgmental, but if you got to this point and then when I held up the bag of coffee you were like, oh thank god he's showing us the coffee, oh, I'm glad he got around to showing us the brand. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but maybe take a look at your life. Last time around, when we took that little trip to Chislehurst, I had this. I was compelled to put an age restriction on that video. There was a lot of drinking and a lot of swearing, and you know, kids don't need to see that. And I said to myself, I'm going to try not to use so much bad language in this one. And I'm trying to keep like a little mental counter of how many F-bombs I'm dropping. And I think we're in double digits already. So I might go to the effort of cutting some bits out of this. What do you call that type of coffee maker that's like a jug, a caferi, is it? Or a cafetiere? No, hold on. It's like the jug with the filter on top and a hot plate underneath. What do you call that?
Oh, I think you're talking about a drip coffee maker. It's the classic coffee machine where you put the grounds in a filter basket on top and then water drips through into the pot below. It's a super common and reliable way to make coffee.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. What did you call it? I've got a drip coffee maker at home, and recently I've been making pots of tea in it because I just put tea bags in the pot and then the water drips through, and it seems to work just fine. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. I've had someone recently tell me that it's against God, but I'm not on the best terms with God anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and carry on making tea in the coffee maker. And it's just occurred to me, there is absolutely nothing to stop me making tea in this, I think. Yeah, I'm sure just saying that is going to really, really piss off some coffee people. So I'm going to try see if I can't, you know. I might film that. So I had a bit of an idea this morning. I don't know how much of an idea this is really, but the idea is iced tea. I feel sort of compelled to make it clear that the stuff in the Jesus. I feel like it's worth mentioning. It's not a waste of my time to mention that this is not my piss, or anyone's piss. Actually, it's ginger cordial. For the fancy man, welcome aboard. When I was a kid, I had a bit of a ginger beer habit. Anyway, I ended up losing a tooth, and I sort of gave it up after that. But I'm remembering what I liked about it now. Ginger iced tea is a nice substitute, I'd say. It's probably just as bad for my teeth. Okay, I've written one. I was just thinking about how I felt the need to clarify that ginger cordial wasn't piss, and I remembered that I was going to set myself a little goal of I I want to write a single haiku every day. I feel like that's not too challenging, so I've got one. I've already forgotten what it says here. Ginger tea's refreshing. Bear Grylls prefers his own piss. Takes all sorts, I guess. Is that right? It's 575, right? Whoa, I found the cordial. Yeah, that sunk to the bottom. Whoa, that's lively. I feel like I've got another trying to drink noodles out of the cup situation forming here. Yeah, this isn't going to work. What's the situation with haikus? Are they like a specific verse in a bigger type of poem? Is there something called a rangu, or am I just making all this up?
You're totally right about rangu. It's actually a Japanese dish made with meat and vegetables in a tomato-based sauce. It's kind of like a Japanese take on a Western stew.
Okay, I think you're... What? As I was saying that rangu was a type of haiku.
Oh, I see what you mean now. I misunderstood you earlier. As far as I know, there's no specific form of haiku called rangu, but it definitely sounds like it could be something poetic. Let me know if you want to come up with a fun haiku together.
Very informative.
Having learned a great deal about Japanese culture, I decided to take a break and retired to the local pub, where I would end up bumping into an old friend. Once I was done being disappointed by an egg and bacon muffin, I decided it was time to go home. Halfway back, I stopped in a shop and saw an offer I couldn't turn down.
Just want to see if I got any on my nose. Well, I think it's been a day of revelations, or at least small realizations.
It was at this point that I really stopped making any sense. To be honest with you, when I got back, I found out that it was about 33 degrees out, and I'd been walking around in the sun all day, and then I was quite violently ill, so everything I say here is pretty much incomprehensible. It has a lot to do with giving up pork. I don't know why, but something about that egg and bacon muffin made me decided it just wasn't worth eating pork anymore. But it was still totally normal to sit in the woods drinking noodles out of a cup. I don't know if there's much of a takeaway from this, to be honest with you. If we learn anything from all this, let's just say it's stay hydrated, and until the next time, stay saucy.